what's happening everyone? Pragmatic Addict here. Welcome to my first review of the new year. So, the only thing I knew about this film was the title. I've heard the title brought up here and there over the past couple weeks, but I haven't seen a trailer, I didn't know the plot. So this is a pretty simple premise. It reads, a 19th century widow and her crew must choose between rescuing a shipwrecked crew or surviving the winter. So first off, I am gonna say, you all know I am a sucker for atmosphere, especially when it comes to horror, period pieces, winter settings. Funny, last January we also got a periodic indie horror centered on the winter season called Out of Darkness. Now, that was my second favorite film of the entire year. This one? So I haven't looked up where, in fact, the movie was filmed, but I am just gonna say it. The setting here is the main star of the film, as well as the movie's tone. Being centered around fishermen, which I am also a sucker for oceanic films, that more uncommon, more specific character outline, along with the setting, was enough to always keep me waiting, I'll say. Thankfully, the movie was always absolutely pleasant to look at because I was admittedly trying a bit hard to get into this movie. Going back to the setting again, I will say, as an indie periodic horror film set in such a specific environment, time, living, that being specifically around fishermen on an isolated fishing post, all of those factors, which are arguably the most fun and interesting things about the movie, were the funnest and most interesting things in the film. The film just didn't engage me enough otherwise. Which I will say, the cast here, their emotions, their demeanors, body language, dialogue, etc., they're putting in 100%. But the film just isn't given, in my opinion, a strong enough script. One half of the movie, that being the funnest stuff, a horror film from a fisherman's perspective, is very fun, but everything else, the filler, the character development, the storyline, none of it follows in a straightforward direction that I found to be easy to keep track of, easy enough to follow, and I don't mean that in a positive sense, like it was the variety or the lore of the film, or that it was just unpredictable, but more so it just felt very random. I felt like every scene I was seeing was one that was just randomly selected out of many that could have happened. It never felt like the next scene that needed to happen as far as specific placement in terms of the film's story. It never stood out, felt fitting, genuinely pushed the story forward. I would still put this film in the category of like slow burn. You can still make a story of it. It just feels like the things that happen in the movie, whether they landed or not, were just one out of many things that could have happened, which really prevented me from fully giving into this film and putting some belief into it. And overall, I am feeling more mixed than anything on The Damned. Guys, that does it for my thoughts on The Damned. This is the first movie I have seen this year. I wouldn't say that this is your typical January horror film. It had some things I really liked in it, and those things that I really liked were some of the most interesting and funnest things that you could look forward to in the film. But overall, this was just a very jumbled, very all over the place movie. And that pacing and the storyline just really prevented me from fully immersing myself into the movie and putting so much belief into it. But yes, guys, that is going to do it for my thoughts on The Damned. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie for those that did see it. There is not a lot coming out in January alone, but next week I will have a review coming out of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. So look forward to that. But yes, guys, with all that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video very soon. Have a good day and Happy New Year.